Rebecca Yusan here with eXp Realty, and I have the pleasure of talking with someone I've actually never talked to before until today. This is Stephanie Batten with Coldwell Banker, and we've actually been stalking each other on Instagram for, I don't know, maybe since March, February-ish. Something like that.
Yeah, probably.
Yep. Somehow our algorithms matched up and said you two should know each other. And we've just been watching each other grow our business this year and have success. And now we finally get to talk. And Stephanie's going to share her story. And I'm so excited to get to know her because I think this is going to be a good friendship. So with that, Stephanie, welcome. Thank you for being with me today.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Stephanie, how long have you been a licensed realtor and in the industry?
Okay, so I've been in real estate. I got licensed in July of 2019. So like a little over 3 years now.
Okay.
And it was some rough years, with COVID and everything. So I started at a really, interesting time.
Interesting. Absolutely. Okay. So not very long, but kind of long enough. So tell me, what were you doing before you got your real estate license?
So right before, I worked in accounting in a construction firm. So like I've been like sort of in the kind of business because of construction. I'm also married to an architect, so that does help as well.
So it's,
so I got a little bit of insight in it, not in the real estate itself, but in the construction business, like
yep,
that's
in the building
awesome process.
That makes a lot of sense. That's awesome. So tell me which markets you serve.
So I serve mostly the greater Greenville area, which is the upstate of South Carolina. Well, but there's like several other counties like Greenville County, Spartanburg County, Pickens County, Henderson, and Lawrence. That's basically the area I serve, like the northern part of South Carolina.
That's a really big area.
It is, and there is like times where I drive like just an hour to get to a showing. So one way.
Yeah, that's so interesting because really I serve 2 counties, but in my other, in Michigan, I could serve quite a few counties because it doesn't take very long to get there. Right. So it's always interesting to hear how far people can go to serve their clients. So, okay, so you'll drive about an hour.
Yeah, I could drive up to an hour probably. And it's not because of traffic. It really is distance, so miles.
Okay.
If you go out to like the lake area, then it's going to be an hour, maybe even an hour and a half, to be honest. So it depends where it is.
Very interesting. Okay. So tell me what happened in your life that you woke up one day and said, you know what? That's it. I'm getting my real estate license.
Well, I mean, honestly, it was really just, I was so tired of my job.
Okay.
Like I was so tired going in the office every morning at 8:00, being there till 5 or longer, working through lunch, and don't feel like getting much accomplished every single day, doing the same thing every day, seeing the same people every single day. And I'm like, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. So just really, yeah.
I love that. Okay. I wish more people would do things like that. People do get bored of doing the same thing every day, but they never take that step to get out of that.
Well, don't get me wrong. It took me a long time,
But you didn't.
Well, eventually, but I could have done it years earlier, it's like you do get scared. I mean, it's like you change your whole life around. I moved to Greenville from Texas in 2016. So I've been here for 6 years, and I was there for like 3 years after I went into real estate. And that was a big step. I mean, that was like a 15-hour away move. But more importantly, I mean, I'm sure you hear my accent, so I'm German.
Yes.
And I moved in 2005. I moved across the ocean. I moved to the United States, and that's an even bigger move. Like I left everything behind.
Yeah, that's so impressive. That's I mean, I've met a lot of people that have done things like that, but you don't meet a lot. People are afraid of a big change like that. So that's a big deal to me, to make a change like that. So
yeah,
I love
it is.
I love it. So your first year was in 2019, and we all know what happened shortly after that. So tell me about that first year. Did you have any sales? What was it like? Did you make any money?
Well, so when I started in July of 2019, Coldwell Banker, the brokerage I'm at, they have like an intensive training program. And so the first 2 months, you really don't do any real estate. You get trained basically. Like, and which was a good thing. And was one of the reasons why I joined the brokerage, because I felt like I needed, after getting the license, where you just learn laws and not really real estate per se. Like you don't really learn what it is to be a realtor. You absolutely don't. You just learn how not to get sued, basically. So after that, I really, really needed that training, and they do a fantastic job. I mean, I can only say good things about the brokerage I joined. And so it was really hard for me. I've only lived here for 3 years. I didn't know a whole lot of people. And so I did not get my first sale. I got in March of 2020. So it took me a long time to close my first deal.
Yep.
And that was right when COVID hit. Like I put this on a contract in February, and then COVID hit, So my first closing was not in person. I had to wait outside. The attorney would only let in my clients, and they had to wear masks, and I had to wait outside. And so it was kind of frustrating when you can't be a part of your very first closing. And then I had 2 more in May, and another one in June. So during the first year, from July to July, basically, I think I closed like 4 deals. No, and I could not have lived off of the commission on that. I mean, absolutely not. I could not have lived off of that money I made in that first year.
Nope, that is a tough time for sure. So is that how you thought it was going to be when you got your license? Did you think, oh, I'm going to be in this for a year and make no money? Did you think it was going to be like that?
No, I did not. I actually thought it was a lot easier than it's going to be. And I think a lot of people go in with that impression that real estate is easy money, and that you are just going to show a couple of houses and it's all easy, and you're just going to make a whole lot of money. It's also that people have the impression, like when they close on a house and they see the commission, that's just the money that goes to the real estate agent, and we both know that's not how it works, like we're not going to get that number that's shown on there. And no, I did not think it was going to be that hard at all. I mean, I thought it was going to come a lot easier. I thought that people would be a lot more interested in working with me, which they were. It's a game of rejection too, and I'm still trying to learn that I'm not gonna get personally affected by it, because I'm I'm one of those people that want to please everybody and that want everybody to love me, and that's just not how it works, like.
Oh, I can't imagine anyone not loving you. That is
Oh, you're so
neat.
sweet.
Well, you tell me who they are and I will deal with them for you.
Right.
So in that first year, so it wasn't quite like you thought it was going to be. Did you have to make any changes in your lifestyle or your living situation to make up for that?
Well, I didn't have to because I am married. So I was not I didn't have to put on an extra job or had to move or anything. So I'm super fortunate that my husband totally supported that whole idea. And, he took care of me. So let's say it like that. So I am fortunate. I didn't have to do anything to make this work. We did have to spend a little less money on some things because I didn't have a job like I did before where I made a certain income every month, but we were still fine, it wasn't a huge deal. Maybe a vacation less or maybe going out a little less, but it wasn't impossible.
That's awesome. And he was right there with you, supporting you and encouraging you and
absolutely
believing in you.
And he still is, even so it's hard some days.
What did you say?
I said, and he still is, even so it's hard some days, because he has a stressful job himself,
Okay. Oh, I love that. So when you got licensed, did you completely leave your accounting position or did you still carry some sort of a job?
No, I did not.
That was it.
I went into 100%, so I actually, I left before I even got to my license,
Okay.
I was not, while I was getting my license, I was not doing
that was it.
Anything else.
Good for you. That's nice. Then you were able to focus. So when you only close 4 deals in a year, sometimes agents can get a little bit desperate because they have bills to pay.
Right.
Did you ever do anything that after you did it, it made you question your judgment and your character?
Actually, I didn't. I'm a huge rule follower. Always have been. This is how I grew up. It's just my personality, and I'm always questioning things. I know. I actually really didn't.
Good for you.
Yeah,
good answer.
I'm sure. There's plenty of things. I stepped into some things where I realized, I don't want to deal with this, or this is not something I'm gonna do. But some leads and stuff, and I was like, no, I'm gonna step away from this. This is not who I want to work with. So no, I have not.
Yep. So you definitely understand the importance of doing things on the up and up and the right way, because it always comes back to get you if you do things.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, no, I absolutely believe that's the truth completely. Yeah.
Yep, that's awesome, and that will serve you well. So did you ever do anything that you didn't know was wrong until you got caught?
In real estate.
I know you're a rule follower. You're a rule follower, but lots of times I tell my new agents, you don't know what you don't know. So you have to be so careful that you're always doing things the right way. But then they get caught doing something and they're like, oh.
Yeah, no,
I
see what you're saying. And there's a lot of things that you don't do as a new agent because you just don't know that you're supposed to be doing that. When I wrote my first offer, it was an appraisal contingency, and I didn't really, my clients later felt like I didn't explain it to them correctly. Well, I thought I did, but they may not have understood it.
Yeah.
That they have to pay that difference if it doesn't appraise out of their pocket.
Yeah.
And then they were shocked when it came down to the house not appraising as high that you were hoping it would. Like, and that is definitely your learning process, and you're going to go back and say, hey, next time I'm going to make 100% sure that my clients fully understand what this means to them. And yeah, I mean, stuff like that you just don't do at the beginning, because when something happens, you learn. Like if something doesn't go the right way, like this one didn't go the way it was intended, so you learn to make sure that you don't do it again. Or when one of my sellers cut off the gas on the house before the final walk, and they did, like, and I probably didn't point it out to them that they needed to leave the utilities on, or maybe I just pointed it out, like I probably said it at some point, but I didn't point it out right before, to make sure that the utilities are still all on, like stuff like that. I mean, but nothing major. I don't feel like, nothing that actually, like where I actually broke laws or anything like that. So no.
So whatever happened to your clients that had to bring money to cover the appraisal gap? What happened?
No, they did it. They were upset with me, very upset. I mean, they felt like I didn't tell them, and yeah,
I'm so sorry. That the
got
worst.
a little bit. And the thing was that she was actually a friend of mine.
Oh.
And when you are friends with somebody, then she was probably a little more harsh to me than, you know what I mean? Like, than you would have been with just a regular realtor.
Yeah.
Like she was a friend, and I was like, you didn't tell me. And I was like, yes, I did. And I was like, well, I don't remember it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But they're in their beautiful home, so hopefully they'll just forget that happened.
I hope so. Well, they also bought, like, in the height of the market where everything was selling over, asking by a lot, over appraisal, like, and they had already lost some homes before, like that they didn't get, and so we ended up doing the appraisal gap, and I thought it would appraise closer, but it didn't, like, because you just never know 100% how something will appraise.
Yeah.
That appraiser didn't adjust. I mean, he just didn't want to work with us. I mean, so, I mean, yeah.
Yep, they'll get it back. So that's the great thing about real estate. You always get it back as long as
you keep it for a little while.
Yep. Yeah. So, was there ever a time that you were like, I cannot do this anymore, I want to quit?
Oh, almost daily. No, seriously. I mean, like, when you have no business, then you always feel like you want to quit, because you're like, oh, I'm not good at this, and I need to make money, and this is not for me. I mean, you're always starting to doubt yourself, or at least I do. And then there's like the times when you're like super busy, you just want to quit because you don't know, you can't handle it anymore. You're like, you get so many text messages, so many emails, so many phone calls, and it's just, you feel like it's just too much, and you can't deal with it anymore. Or you run from place to place, you eat in the car, like, yeah, and it's like you just feel like it's just not going to work for you anymore.
Yep, been there many times.
Yeah. I'm sure you have.
Yes. So tell me, since you've started, sometimes it takes a while to figure out what your specialty is going to be and your focus. Tell me what your focus is for this year.
That's a hard one, because I don't think I have figured it out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'm actually there yet. Again, I've only been in the business for 3 years, and that's still a pretty short amount of time. I don't know how long you've been in the business, but I mean, 3 years is not super long. I mean, how many agents quit us in the first 5 years? Like over...
Oh, like 80%.
Like over 80%, right?
Yes.
And like in the first year, it's actually over 90, I think. So you know, and I guess sticking around for 3 years is already an accomplishment, but
Yes.
I don't think I have figured out my focus or my specialty yet.
Okay.
You know, I really don't think so. I wanted to focus on people that need a German speaking realtor, but that hasn't really happened, to be honest. I mean, I helped a couple of German speakers, but to be honest, most Germans that are living in the US are fluent enough in English to really don't need it.
Okay.
You know, like they don't really need me. That might be different with other countries, you know, with other languages. Like Spanish speakers tend to want a Spanish speaking realtor because a lot of them are not totally fluent. But with the Germans, especially around here, most of them came for business. They came to the States to work here, and like they know the language well enough to be able to use an American. You know, they don't have to use somebody that speaks their language.
Okay.
So that didn't really work out for me.
But I still think they would like that connection.
Right, and I definitely had some German clients. It's not I didn't, but it's not like it's my market, you know. I mean, I have served everyone really.
Everyone.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, like everyone who wanted to work with me, you know. So, and I'm pretty laid back, and I will put 100% into every client, but that is only possible because I don't have a huge amount of business, I think. You know, like if you have a huge amount of business, it's gonna get hard, I'm sure. You know, like, but I don't really have that kind of business. So I put in each client, I put 100% effort.
No, I have a feeling that's what you'll do forever. That's just who
well, I will try and I will kill myself over it, probably.
You
know what I mean?
I don't think you have to worry about that. So tell me why. So we know most agents quit in the first 5 years. Why do you think you've stuck around?
I mean, it's definitely to do with the support I'm getting from my husband and from friends. And also, I love real estate, even so it annoys me days and people hurt my feelings and yeah, I mean, that's who I am. So, you know, I'm like, but I do love the business. I love closing the deal and people buying the house and happy and, like getting somebody in the house they love. It's a real satisfaction.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I'm still around, probably.
I love it.
I'm still hoping that I get better and I mean, I want to learn and I want to better myself. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely another thing. Plus, I could not imagine myself going back on the desk from 8 to 5.
Oh, yeah. No way.
No
way. I would run away. I would run away to some deserted island and never come back. There's no way.
I was like, no, I can't do that. I would rather waitress somewhere instead of doing that again.
No, that would be a slow, painful death for both of us. So that's not going to happen. You let me know if you think that's about to happen, because I got you.
All right, sounds good.
So if you were going to go back to Stephanie right when she's decided, this is my future, I'm going to get my license, I'm taking a leap of faith, what would you tell her? What's your best advice for her?
I would tell her, do not take things personal.
Oh.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. That's definitely something. Don't take it all personal. Don't get too hurt over things. Yeah, that's probably one of those things, because I think that was one of the hardest lessons for me to learn, and I'm still learning it. I've gotten better, but I mean, at first it was like super hard for me.
I get that.
Like the rejection, like you're dealing with on a daily basis, and it's just or people that you thought liked you and then suddenly they ghost you, and I'm like, okay, you could at least tell me that you don't want to work with me. I'd take that, instead of not talking to me or blocking me. So
Oh, that's the worst.
I know. Just give me just give me a like, hey, I decided not to do this, or I decided to work with somebody else. I mean, just be straightforward and tell me, and it's gonna hurt a little bit, but I'm gonna get over it. But if you don't give me that closure, I absolutely do not like that.
Oh, you're so sweet. So that's really good advice for a new agent, and that is clearly good advice for yourself. Right. But what would you tell someone that says, Stephanie, I think I'm going to get my license. I think I want to do this. I want to be just like you. What would be your best advice for them?
Oh man, that's hard. Don't be like me.
Okay. Don't be sensitive. Be a jerk.
Yeah, not a jerk per se, but do stand your grounds. Like don't have people run all over you. Don't let them do that. Don't be that person.
That's really good advice. Be the owner of your business and run it.
Yes.
So when I got my real estate license, it was 10 years ago, and everything was a short sale or a foreclosure, and it was a nightmare. Nobody had a job, nobody had money. It was
2012, yeah, okay.
It was terrible.
Yeah, so, I bet.
A lot of people are saying right now is bad. Like it was bad because you couldn't find a house, and now it's bad because rates are high. What do you think is coming? What is your outlook for the real estate industry?
Well, obviously, we don't really know what's going to happen.
That's right.
I honestly do not think we're going to have another 2012. I mean, I don't see that happening. I mean, yeah, the rates are higher. They're still not that bad. Like I don't see. It's just because people compare it to rates in the twos. Like that's just was historically low. Like you can't compare those rates with what you have now. I mean, now the problem is our inventory remains low, which to me means it's not gonna happen. The market is not going to crash. There will continue to be appreciation in all the homes. Of course, it's going to go down. I mean, we couldn't stick with 15% appreciation. Like that's not. I mean, that's not realistic. But it will continue, especially in my market. In my market, prices will continue to rise at a lower margin, but they will continue to rise because Greenville remains to be a super popular place for people to move to, and we don't have enough inventory, and the only houses that stay a little longer on the market are the ones that are overpriced or just not nice houses. There's usually a reason for it, and everything else continues to sell for asking or more. So it's not, and I don't see it. I mean, yes, it is slowing down a little. I mean, we can see that too, but it's not as drastic as people or the media is putting it out there.
No,
it's not at all. Not in my market anyways.
Yeah, it feels to me like it's getting healthier.
Right. Like it's coming back to a normal level because it wasn't healthy last year. No. I mean, it was crazy. So
it was crazy. Just like with your clients that the house didn't appraise. It's like, this isn't even good for you to have this house, but we don't have any other choice. You have to have it.
And that's exactly what I told them too. I was like, you either if you want to buy now, if you need to buy now, the next one, it might happen again.
Yep.
Like it's just going to keep on happening, because
Yep.
another reason was because our appraisers couldn't keep up this how fast things were appreciating. So they were appraising things too low. I mean, like they would appraise it higher now.
Yep. It's so crazy. Well, Stephanie, I love that we finally got to talk and meet each other and get to know each other. I mean, you never really know who someone is just by their social media.
Of course not. I mean,
And
we put out on social media the
the
bright
image
side
that you want people to see. Yeah.
Right. Of course.
Yep. But in the end, we're all human beings. We all have feelings and we all just want to win. So I love this. So I think you and I are going to have a long friendship, and I definitely want to watch your business grow and see how it changes. And I mean, that's going to be the best part of this whole thing. So thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Awesome.
Okay. You take care.